Tomorrow morning, 10 a.m., Santa's coming to town.
Santa! Oh my God!
So it is that time of year again, and what kind of a film channel would I be without mentioning some of the best Christmas classics that help us warm up for the winter period. Today on Steve's Indies, I will be giving you my top 5 Christmas films I always watch without fail before or on Christmas. Please like this video if you enjoy it and subscribe for more film reviews, previews and a lot more content. Yes, I have to admit Christmas is my favourite part of the year, and much of that is due to the festive films that I put on and enjoy with my family. Hopefully this year I will be filled to the brim with roast dinner and some booze, but despite what's going on with the horrible pandemic, I do plan to do it this year as well, and like I have always done, plan to watch these 5 films in particular. Before we start, if for whatever strange reason you haven't seen these festive classics, this is your minor Christmas spoiler warning. Again, Christmas isn't exactly designed for independent content, well at least not the best films, so in this video I'm bucking my own trend slightly and turning towards the mainstream craze. Yes, Michael Keaton does have a Christmas film, and no, it is not a Tim Burton superhero classic involving everyone's favourite Cape Crusader. This one from 1998 is one of my favourite childhood classics, absolutely panned by the critics for its cheesy, cliche and ultra corny storyline and special effects. But quite simply, I know where I'd tell all those critics to shove it. Jack Frost is a time-old tale about the classic magical snowman story. I believe they have been adaptations about the story, but I believe this one is the best. A young boy named Charlie struggles from day to day with his absentee father, who happens to be a musician. Always promising to be there for Charlie's big moments, Keaton's character Jack always manages to let him down. But one night during a terrible storm when Jack is returning from a gig, he tragically crashes and dies. Jack is resurrected in the form of a snowman that Charlie assembled days before. Hysterical scenes follow when they finally come face to face and hide him from everyone else. Yes, it's about a snowman coming to life and taking up the mantle with his best friend and father, but when I was younger, growing up in the very early 2000s, this 90s cheese film was magical to me. Plus, I really like ice hockey and 90s classics and all the dad jokes you can possibly imagine in one film. Let's just say that this is one Christmas that Charlie will not forget. At number 4, again, is a childhood favourite and the oldest film on this list, yet another rendition and adaptation of Dickens' timeless classic, except in this case, I believe Ebenezer Scrooge was perfectly casted. Michael Caine plays a phenomenal version of Scrooge, and he is joined by some of our favourite Muppets characters. I particularly enjoyed Rizzo and his fiction of events. Musical numbers don't really have to be everyone's cup of tea, but the ones in this film are timeless. One of my favourites is when the Puppet Elders' rendition of O'Malley, and of course the everlasting There's Only One More Sleep Till Christmas. I feel this is one of the all-time best Muppet live-action films that will stand the test of time. Yes, you could have the 1984 classic or Jim Carrey's 2009 animation of the film on this list, but A Muppet's Christmas Carol is my childhood choice, bar humbug. Everybody's favourite time of the year would not be complete without everybody's favourite elf, or should I say everybody's. Will Ferrell knocks this one out of the park with his once-in-a-lifetime Christmas performance of Buddy the Elf and his search to find his biological father, taking us all on this hysterical adventure from the North Pole all the way to New York City. It's one of the best fish-out-of-water films I've ever seen, and to be honest, only Will Ferrell could pull off the story of an oversized elf travelling to find his dad, which on paper sounds awful, but Ferrell brings his innate ability to look completely confused and utterly innocent and childish at the same time. But I guess as magical and fantasy based as this film is, it shows the real human part of connecting with family for Christmas. I feel the funniest films always have that combination of fantasy and reality, and when a character is out of his or her element, completely out of their depth and placed smack bang in the middle of it, it just is comedy gold. Number 2 is the most controversial one on my list. It has divided festive film fans for decades. Die Hard to this day is still up for debate on whether it belongs in this category. It doesn't just belong in this category, it thrives in it. I mean, ho ho ho, he has a machine gun is enough for me, but seriously, whether it was due to the fact UK terrestrial television would show this pretty much every Christmas Eve or the night of, or whether it's the numerous Christmas songs coming from Argyle's radio, the Christmas work party the film is essentially based around, or the Christmas tree, Santa hat, and the way it's mentioned a hell of a lot. I can understand why certain people wouldn't consider an action film about terrorism on their Christmas film agenda. Nevertheless, John McClane, a current NYPD police officer visiting LA while simultaneously being caught up in one of, if not the most famous hostage situations in film history, is a recipe for a great Christmas evening, and it's one that I never fail to watch every Christmas Eve. Badass Bruce Willis saving Christmas from an evil Alan Rickman. I'd say it's top of my festive film list, but also top of the best action films of all time as well. The Grinch is number one because it's my all-time favourite Christmas film. I couldn't put another one at the top of this list, and it's based on the Dr. Seuss best-selling children's rhyming book. It's about a what that doesn't like Christmas, surrounded by who's who worship the holiday, and an event in the Grinch's past that escalates the small-hearted individual's absolute dislike and disdain for anything that involves Santa Claus. Jim Carrey, similar to Will Ferrell's elf character, gives a once-in-a-lifetime performance as the Grinch. Even though Ace Ventura and The Mask are two incredible characters that have solidified Carrey, the Grinch for me is his best. Even though a young innocent Lucy Liu does her utmost best to bring absolutely everyone together at Christmas, the Grinch comically and hysterically keeps pushing her away in the funniest of fashions. I even feel at times as if the film tries bridging the gap between family-friendly, magical Christmas and laugh-out-loud adult humour, which when I was younger I never fully understood. Now, however, it's golden. The arrogance and sarcasm of Carrey's character is almost relatable. If you've been surrounded by people that are shoving something down your throat and forcing you to buy into this Christmas spirit when you've had a bad day or don't want to, then trust me, the comedy in this Christmas classic will have you in stitches. It's a film that was released at the perfect time and would never really have been as good 10 years ago in my opinion, but this millennial humour, similar to Elf, is fully on show. Not to mention it's a 100% Christmas theme all rolled up inside a tiny snowflake, narrated by Anthony Hopkins. I mean, what's not to like? So there you have it, my top 5 Christmas films. Be sure to turn on the notifications, as next week I will be sharing with you 5 more Christmas films for the festive period. Please like and subscribe. I hope you all have an amazing Christmas, and on that note, take care everybody.